All praises, all praises, all praises to the heavenly, holy, almighty creator of infinity, eternity, the universe, and all there is. This is Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit. Hello, family. Once again, we reconvene in love and joy and comfort and safety. We are together at the threshold of transition, where we bear forth our cranial universes and expose our souls for the transmission and the vibration and the cosmic radiation and the heat and the fire of the word of the holy power creator of all imagination. All praises into the 12 tribes of the house of Jacob, wherever you may be scattered upon planet Earth. My continuous petitions of prayer for your care and safety, peace, harmony, serenity, and solace, as well as my brothers and sisters of the world. And we reconvene in this holy convocation with this holy congregation so that we may continue as to review and to receive the holy history of the mystery nation of the holy power creator. All praises. And tonight, family, we are continuing with our Maccabees series. We are in the first book of Maccabees, chapter 4, and it is an exciting precipice as we are now getting ready to find out what happens with the impending battle of the steward of the Greek emperor, as he was given orders to go in and destroy the nation of Israel. But we have the brother Judas Maccabees standing as a vanguard to the holy people in the nation as he leads his army, his band of the strong and the valiant, the wise and the faithful. And so, family, we shall dive into the wonderfulness of the holy history of the nation of mystery. And so, without further ado, we give our honor to the Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit channel standards in the books of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6, the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 8. And as we continue to learn and discern, we use the tools of Holy Brother Prophet Isaiah in his scroll of the 28th chapter, verses 9 through 11. And so, family, we are now becoming still and quiet, and we clench the hands of our fellow beings of light as we get ready to receive, as we continue to perceive, as we believe. And now, we begin. First Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 1. Then Gorgias took 5,000 footmen and 1,000 of the best horsemen and removed out of the camp by night, to the end he might rush upon the camp of the Jews and smite them suddenly. And the men of the fortress were his guides. Now, when Judas heard thereof, he himself removed, and the valiant men with him, that he might smite the king's army, which was at Emos, while as yet the forces were dispersed from the camp. In the mean season came Gorgias by night into the camp of Judas, and when he found no man there, he sought them in the mountains, for he said, These fellows flee from us. But as soon as it was day, Judas showed himself in the plain with 3,000 men, who nevertheless had neither armor nor swords to their minds. And they saw the camp of the heathen, that it was strong and well harnessed, and compassed round about with horsemen, and these were expert at war. Then said Judas to the men that were with him, Fear you not their multitude, neither be you afraid of their assault. Remember how our fathers were delivered in the Red Sea when Pharaoh pursued them with an army. Now therefore, let us cry unto heaven, if peradventure the Lord will have mercy upon us, and remember the covenant of our fathers, and destroy this host before our face this day, so that all the heathen may know that there is one who delivers and saves Israel. Then the strangers lifted up their eyes and saw them coming over against them. Wherefore they went out of the camp to battle. But they that were with Judas sounded their trumpets. So they joined battle, and the heathen, being discomfited, fled into the plain. Howbeit all the hindmost of them were slain by the sword, for they pursued them unto Gezerah, and unto the plains of Idumea, and Azotus, and Jamnia, so that there were slain of them upon 3,000 men. All right, family. So the brothers Judas and the 3,000 army blew the horns, rushed into battle. They scared the heathen, and the heathen fled, and the brothers put down 3,000 to the dust. After this was done, Judas returned again with his host from pursuing them, and said to the people, Be not greedy of the spoil, inasmuch as there is a battle before us. And Gorgias and his hosts are here by us in the mountain. But stand you now against our enemies, and overcome them, and after this you may boldly take their spoils. As Judas was yet speaking these words, there appeared a part of them looking out of the mountain, who then they perceived that the Jews had put their host to flight, and were burning the tents, for the smoke that was seen declared what was done. When therefore they perceived these things, they were sore afraid, and seeing also the host of Judas in the plain ready to fight, they fled every one of them into the land of strangers. Then Judas returned to spoil the tents, where they got much gold and silver and blue silk and the purple of the sea and great riches. After this they went home and sung a song of thanksgiving and praised the Lord in heaven, because it is good, because his mercy endures forever. Thus Israel had a great deliverance that day. Now all the strangers that had escaped came and told Lysias what had happened, who then, when he heard thereof, was confounded and discouraged, because neither such things as he would were done unto Israel, nor such things as the kings commanded him were come to pass. Verse 27, who, when he heard thereof, Lysias, was confused and discouraged, because neither such things as he would were done unto Israel, nor such things as the king commanded were come to pass. So brother Lysias' family was dumbfounded. He was destroyed, because he went up there to destroy Israel and put forth the commandment of the kings to lay Israel waste. And he was defeated. Verse 28, the next year thereof following, Lysias gathered together 70,000 choice men of foot. 70, that's 60,000, family. And 5,000 horsemen, that he might subdue them. So they came into Idumea and pitched their tents at Bethsur. And Judas met them with 10,000 men. And when he saw the mighty army, he prayed and said, Blessed are you, O Savior of Israel, who did quell the violence of the mighty man by the hand of your servant David, and gave the host of strangers into the hands of Jonathan, the son of Saul, and his armor bearers. Shut up this army in the hand of your people Israel, and let them be confounded in their power and horsemen. Make them be of no courage, and cause the boldness of their strength to fall away, and let them quake at their destruction. Cast them down with the sword of them that love you, and let all those that know your name praise you with thanksgiving. So they joined the battle, and there were slain of the host of Lysias about 5,000 men. Even before them were they slain. Now when Lysias saw his army put to flight, and the manliness of Judas' soldiers, and how they were ready either to live or die valiantly, he went into Antiochia and gathered together a company of strangers. And having made his army greater than it was, he purposed to come again into Judea. Then said Judas and his brethren, Behold, our enemies are discomfited. Let us go up to cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary. Upon all this, the hosts assembled themselves together and went up into Mount Zion. And when they saw the sanctuary desolate, and the altar profaned, and the gates burned up, and the shrubs growing in the courts as in a forest, and in one of the mountains, the priest's chambers were pulled down, they tore their clothes and made great lamentation, and cast ashes upon their heads, and fell down flat on the ground upon their faces, and blew an alarm with trumpets, and cried toward heaven. Then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress until he had cleansed the sanctuary. So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had the pleasure of the law, who cleanse the sanctuary and bear out the defiled stones into an unclean place. And when they had consulted what to do with the altar of burnt offerings, which was profaned, they thought it best to pull it down, lest it should be a reproach to them, because the heathen had defiled it. Wherefore they pulled it down, and laid up the stones in the mountain of the temple in a convenient place, until there should come a prophet to show what should be done with them. Then they took the whole stones according to the law, and built a new altar according to the former, and made up the sanctuary and the things that were within the temple, and hallowed the courts. They made also new holy vessels, and into the temple they brought the candlestick, and the altar of burnt offerings, and of incense, and the table. And upon the altar they burned incense, and the lamps that were upon the candlestick they lit, that there might be light in the temple. Furthermore, they set the loaves upon the table, and spread out the veils, and finished all the works which they had begun to make. Now, on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called the month of Caslu, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning, and offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings which they had made. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it, even in that it was dedicated with songs and cisterns and harps and cymbals. Then all the people fell on their faces, worshiping and praising the God of heaven, who had given them such good success. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days, and offered burnt offerings with gladness, and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praised. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold, and with shields, and the gates and the chambers they renewed, and hanged doors upon them. Thus were there very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away. Moreover, Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days, from the 25th day of the month of Caslu, with mirth and gladness. And that time also they builded up the Mount Zion with high walls and strong towers round about, lest the Gentiles should come and tread it down as they had done before. Verse 61, and they sat there a garrison to keep it, and fortified Bethsura to preserve it, that the people might have a defense against Idumea. Woo, family. What exuberance and electricity. I'm electrified. It is fantastic to recall the history of our nation, our people, our warriors, our fighters, our priests. We must understand the power of our prayer. We must understand the power of our God. We have our own God. He will protect and save us when we are in our righteousness. Our righteousness is His laws as given to us, the 600 statutes and commandments and ordinances, which include our holy feast days, our moral law, our ceremonial law, our civil law, our dietary law. We were given the history of the feast or the festival of dedication. This is our holiday. We find out we are now in the month of Caslu, which is the 9th month of the Hebrew year. We are on the eve of the 25th day, where we will be in a holy celebration in convocation for the rededication of the holy temple at Mount Zion, for the nation of Israel as reclaimed and cleansed and rebuilt and refilled by the brother Judas of the Maccabean period. All praises. Family, these are the festivals we should be celebrating and honoring in now understanding the history of the who, what, where, when, and why. We are in the Greek captivity, that captivity taken out of the standard biblical text. This is where Negroes became Gentiles or Greeks. This is where we learn why Brother Paul had to be dispersed or go out into the various areas of the former Grecian but now Roman Empire to speak to these brothers who were scattered into those places and lost the heritage, to wit, the Holy Messiah shed blood to readopt us back to. This is a festival that the Messiah himself observed on the porch of Solomon's temple. We are learning, we are expanding, we are expounding, we are extending. We are getting the wisdoms, the wonders, the words, and the laws of our God as the children of the covenant. We put the heathen to shame, even in their bold numbers. They cannot stand before the children of light. And so, family, we shall continue. There is an impending battle. Lysias has much to prove. His life is on the line. The king's commandment he has yet to fulfill, and his personal vendetta to destroy Israel is his mission. All praises. And until we are together again, I love you. I love you. I love you. This was the reading of 1 Maccabees chapter 4, where we learn of our feast of dedication for the rebuilding of our temple for our God. This is Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit.